Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I'm bringing you another double reaction to the Hilltop Hoods. We're going to be checking out the songs Live and Let Go and 50 in 5. For context, this is now my second time on the channel reacting to Hilltop, and I was very impressed by the lyricism and melody in what we heard in the first reaction that I gave. That tends to be the case with a lot of lyrical rap and hip-hop, where your main focus ends up being on the lyrics and the wordplay, and their songs were very, I would say, lyrically verbose, wordy, loquacious. I don't know how to say that one as well. So hopefully I'll be able to take in as much of the stream of consciousness as they want to dawn on me today, and enjoy some hip-hop alongside you guys. Before we jump into this one, a huge thanks goes to Rodney the Melancholic for making this request. As always, it is much, much appreciated. Now, let's jump into it. We've got Maverick Sabre and Brother Ali on this track.
All these days I've been broken and
wow.
hopeless, and
his voice.
And I don't feel like I'm coping. I'm hoping that I can dip and let go, so I can get through it. Yeah, I can dip and let go.
And with the strings in the back.
You know the pain can hang in the air like cigarette smoke, right? Sometimes trying to live and let go, so trying to talk.
Oh my god, can we just appreciate the vocal phrasing and all of that from the first gentleman? There's so many little moments where he's interspersing rap with singing, both sounding amazing.
All these days I've been broken,
and what an accent in his voice. I don't know how to quite place it.
Like I'm coping, I'm hoping that
almost a bit reggae.
I can dip and let go, so I can get through it. Yeah, I can dip and let go, so I can get through this.
That's a nice little riff.
You know the pain can hang in the air like cigarette smoke, right? Sometimes trying to live and let go, so trying to talk with the mouth full of sentiment, though I'm trying to crawl out the skin of me, so I can see through the eyes of a loved one, eyes of an enemy, rising above. Sometimes takes a pedigree that I fear that I don't possess, and turns hope into hopelessness, but I won't regress. Won't let life wear me down, staring down as the troubles all rush past. Some part there where we brown, but wear a frown like a handlebar mustache. So I live, I forgive and forget, rather that than to live with regret. It's like living with that. It's a way that
wow, it's so interesting because I don't know if I posted this on my Patreon. I do this series of my soliloquies. Basically, I just walk and talk and share whatever's on the top of my mind. And there is one that I did on forgiveness and what that means for yourself and the other person. To forgive is an act of self-love, because then you're no longer holding on to the negativity of whatever the environment around you or somebody else or yourself brought onto you. Live and let go. If you're able to forgive and forget, then those things won't weigh on you in perpetuity, which they often can. And there's a lot of interesting discussions around like trauma as an example, and trauma manifests physically in the body. So even when you are decades removed from an event having happened in your life, the physical ramifications may still be felt, and you may not even recognize that it's there. Also a separate point here, but the phrase I'm familiar with is live and let live, which has to do with just allowing people to just exist freely in their own skin. But I like both messages here. Live and let go, so important.
I wear a frown like a handlebar mustache. So I live, I forgive and forget, rather that than to live with regret. It's like living with that. It's a weight that'll curb your spine. Living with hurts like serving time. All these days I've been broken.
hook is so
And I don't
nice.
feel like I'm coping. I'm hoping that I can dip and let go, so I can get through it. Yeah, I can dip and let go, so I can get through this. And all these days I've been, I pay homage to obstacles, the thin line between honor and horrible. The healing heart knows the eyes must overflow. Tears clear the windows that guard the soul. Now let the water flow. You can scrub the mud out of your land, the blood out of your hands, but you still got to cleanse the heart that's trying to beat inside. And it's only purified by the tears you cry. You can fight all the devils.
You can only purify the pain within, not by cleaning the external, but digging a bit deeper.
Of the mud out of your land, the blood out of your hands, but you still got to cleanse the heart that's trying to beat inside. And it's only purified by the tears you cry. You can fight all the devils and slay them, but if you're made hard at the day's end, then they win. There's only one force that can solve all this. I want the warm heart that we all start with. Sometimes we march out, ball our fist. I will give it all up of my softness. You will never invade my holy place. I let the tears dry on my face. I've been broken and hopeless, and I don't feel like I'm coping.
I feel like in a society that has less empathy, this is a song that stands out.
I can get through it. Yeah, I can dip and let go, so I can get through this.
So catchy.
If these walls could talk, they'd sing a somber song. And if we're stronger from this road that goes on and on, we wear scar and lockdown and made of problems from. For the feeling time ticket sitting on a bone.
Dude, all of these vocalists have such unique timbres to their voice. I need to do a comparison of each of them. I don't know their names precisely, but you can just hear it in the earthiness of some of the voices versus like the more unique accents in the others.
For the feeling time ticket sitting on a bone.
It's a nice combo.
So disengaged, hoping it's fades. Reaching out, but the dark take your focus away. This road's paved, but the brave without knowing the way. Don't stray, road that didn't build room in a day.
Hammer.
Not a need to satisfy, ceaseless appetite, just to feel a peace
Destroy
and
the
gratify.
vase.
If we don't reach for the stars,
like a
only
rage
reach
room
for
kinda.
satellite. We'll live in faded color and dream in black and white. I know our demons walk among us, but struggle's something that we do, not something to become.
Let that rage
so let
out.
go of all that suffering and hurt. Yo, unless we pull it up and we burst.
Oh, wow. Just let it out. That's so important. We need to process the emotions to be able to then forgive and forget them.
I can get through this, so I can get through this. Yeah, all these days I've been broken and hopeless, and
I like this
I
video.
don't feel like I'm coping, and I'm hoping that I can live and let go, so I can get through it, so I can live and let go, so I can get through this, so I can get through this, so I can get through this.
Destroy the music.
So I can get through this. So I can get through this. So I can dip and let go. So I can get through this. So I can dip and let go.
Oh.
So I can get through this.
Oh my god, I love this song. And I love the lyrics and I love their voices. I just love everything about it. It's so real, you know? It's very difficult to, I'd say, process our own emotions anyways, because there's often so much going on in our lives. When things get piled on, you just start to lose track of the things that affected you, even if they were small things, right? If you don't address it, then things pile up and then become harder and harder for you to reconcile at a later point. But the thing is, in the short term, if you're able to recognize like, hey, there's some stuff going on that's piling up, but I can't quite label those things, you can say to yourself, it's okay to not have all of those things appropriately labeled, because I can either return to it at a later point or just treat myself well now and forgive and forget whatever it is that may be going on. That's if you don't know what's going on. Oftentimes when things are very prescient in our minds and there's a looming threat, let's say, that is the thing that's going to impact us on a daily basis. And, stress is a silent killer. That is not something that we want to live with endlessly. And one of the ways that we inadvertently cause ourselves to live in that loop of stress is by not letting go of the things that are currently afflicting us. It feels weird, but in a different way, you could say, like, let's say somebody else harmed you. They hurt you with their words in a conversation. Now, it was their fault for hurting you in that moment. Let's say it was a very egregious insult. And it's not really you don't have any ability to control whether they apologize for their words or not. Of course, you'd hope that you could talk about it and they would understand why it hurt and then not continue that behavior going forward. But practically for yourself, you were hurt in that moment, and you can decide whether or not to hold on to that hurt for 60 seconds or 60 days. And the thing is, like, that doesn't mean you have to take that sort of, let's say, problematic behavior being sent your way. It's more about, this hurt me, but I'm not going to allow it to keep on hurting me by internalizing it. And my hope is that if I can actually have the conversation, this thing can get resolved between the two of us. But if that's not on the table, I'm not going to let it hurt me forever either, because I know my value. You see what I'm saying? So the value in forgiving and forgetting, in a sense, it is a tool just for yourself. Because if you can forgive somebody else, maybe they feel the benefit of, okay, now I don't have as much guilt for having caused the hurt. But I feel like you can be a little bit selfish in this regard and just say, this forgiveness that I'm giving to you is about me not wanting to hold on to the negativity and not wanting it to continue going forward. Let's check out 50 and 5, which apparently this one is like 50 years of history in 5 minutes. So we'll see how much of it I know. That is a gnarly cover. Music, like fiery music bleeding from his chest and soul.
Terror cleared the skyline and anger clouded judgment. So they spent 1,000 nights in the desert fighting something that they couldn't find. Time made us something that they couldn't find. Left us all lamenting all the wrongs that they couldn't right. This is for the second time we've been in before. From Vietnam to Saddam, we always needing a war. Neo-conservatives was up, love Viet Cong. The fingers on the trigger, we won't be here for long. They killed them,
So we've already had Saddam, the Viet Cong. I'm really reminded of Vinny Pez. I think I mentioned it last time as well. Maybe a bit of a mortal technique in there as well. Different flow, but oftentimes they would talk about some of the historical injustices and the way history has brought us to the place we are now. Mix in a few conspiracy theories.
Conservatives was up, love Viet Cong. The fingers on the trigger, we won't be here for long. They killed MLK and they named the day after him. They killed JFK and then the airport after him. Some guy showed him what's a Kuwait so he could borrow. A gun and dirty faster, if only he known. We tested nukes in the atmosphere, the sea and the dirt. And they tested all these missiles just to see if they work. Now France got them, Russia got them, India and Pakistan, Korea want them, States want them. Pointed at the Taliban, Iran and Afghanistan, sands of the Arab lands.
Wow. So all of the countries with warheads.
3G, cellular phones, serial killers. Built many cells in their homes, and we had Manson, Bundy, Gacy, Son of Sam, Macarena, Superman, Chicken Dance, Running Man.
Who all was that? I heard some serial killers.
Arab lands, orders from portable commands, and I'm a caravan. Sits in that 3G, cellular phones, serial killers. Built many cells in their homes, and we had Manson.
So on the cellular device scheme, but then cells in the house of serial killers.
Cellular phones, serial killers. Built many cells in their homes, and we had Manson, Bundy, Gacy, Son of Sam.
Charlie Manson, who is it? Bundy, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and who is the fourth name?
Manson, I'm a caravan, sits in that 3G, cellular phones, serial killers. Built many cells in their homes, and we had Manson, Bundy, Gacy, Son of Sam, Macarena, Superman, Chicken Dance, Running Man, Generation X and Generation...
You know, a weird, I guess, unexpected fact of me is that back in the day, I would love watching all of the crazy, like, serial killer documentaries. And I don't know, maybe it was like a morbid fascination of mine, but like all of those names, Manson, Ted Bundy, and Gacy, they were known for some of the most heinous acts ever committed in modern history. It's interesting then to like kind of juxtapose that with something as banal as like the chicken dance.
Macarena, Superman, Chicken Dance, Running Man, Generation X and Generation Y and the Generation X will degenerate and dark as we go holes in the ozone that we put there ourselves. Now the poles are a no-go words cooking itself, and we can't look at ourselves and we can saline, Botox, 18, fake tits, 19, detox, don't stop, get it, can't afford to get it, credit buy it, spend a try, getting fat. Then you better shout it out, swing two, block a two, block a biggie, East Coast, West Coast, fragile, 50, Thatcher.
It's like every social issue is like popping up now. So we have like the people who are overly using like plastic surgery and altering their physical appearances and what that entails, what that means for identity. Then we have the East Coast, West Coast beef with Tupac, Biggie, and if we know what else went down with Sean Combs, P. Diddy, there's a lot there as well.
Block a two, block a biggie, East Coast, West Coast, fragile, 50, Thatcher the shifty, Iron Lady, Tony Blair, a princess, dice on.
Thatcher the, oh god, I think I'm going to pause this one the most just to pick up on everything. That's Margaret Thatcher, right?
50, Thatcher the shifty, Iron Lady, Tony Blair, a princess, dice. Some say cause she got 30 there, Whitlam, Keating, Hawk and a promise of no children in poverty. Wish that could have been honest. We had Abbott and Costello, right-wing overlords, promises and children. They threw them both overboard, overwrought refugees sworn to a group home or jail for the crime. Looking for a new home. Elvis died, Henry died, Lennon died, genocide in Africa, Serbia, Cambodia, pesticides, fire, toxins, chemical warfare, rules, fair and love and what we're worth, what our bull bearer, more terror, more.
Oh my god, it is such a onslaught of terrible things that's going on. We lost Elvis, we lost John Lennon, we lost Jimi Hendrix, then all of the atrocities abroad.
One just such as seizures, a tidal wave came and claimed the coast of Indonesia. Quakes in Iran, Japan to California. Greenhouse gas and the world
natural disasters, climate change.
Martyrs, slaughters, of partners, mourners, fathers and daughters. They chased us, caught us, numbered us, disordered us, raped us, scorned us, to break us, they bought us. Third world kidneys for
now we're just being raped, abused, mistreated, taken advantage of. Oh, man, this is this is a very depressing song. There's so much wrong with our world.
Absence of industry, uprising industry, corruption in the ministry, a blowjob brought about the fall of the dynasty in MP3 saw the fall of
A blowjob brought the fall of a dynasty? Is that the Clintons? Bill Clinton?
a blowjob brought about the fall of the dynasty in MP3 saw the fall of an industry. Global population, half accommodation, carved up resources and we starved the poorer nations. Beirut, Chechnya, all hell broke loose. Berlin, 1989, man, a wall fell. Cold War headed, but that didn't stop. More shells, Waco, lit up the sky like burning oil wells. A world laid waste with addiction, tell all world truth so it's strange and affection. Big brothers on closed circuit TV and lit up the sky like burning oil wells. A world laid waste with addiction, tell all world truth so it's strange and affection.
George Orwell. I thought there was Orwell, like O-R space well, but then also George Orwell, tell Orwell's tale.
A world laid waste with addiction, tell all world truth so it's strange and affection. Big brothers on closed circuit TV.
Yeah, truth being stranger than fiction. I feel like that is so real because oftentimes, even in the way we write stories, it's usually from one perspective. What they'll teach you in some like writing courses is not to use your own voice for every single character, because then you're just putting one consciousness and projecting it onto every single person as if it's representative of what we would have in the world. To be a truly good writer is to really represent unique perspectives on the world. And when you do that, you're going to get a lot of strange interactions between those opposing worlds. There's many similarities, sure, but the differences cause us to create timelines that are almost inconceivable. I mean, that's why we love learning about the crazy stories that are out there, because we just think, wow, this is so different from my own lived perspective.
TV and on cable, reality's unscripted, celebrities for sale, jeopardy in jail, seize the polls, remedies and penalties for failed CEOs. We had the Enron collapsing, white collar climbing, investors they were taxed, dollar for a dime, the blue chip companies and blue sky mines. We no longer choose sides, we choose sidelines.
So we no longer choose sides, we choose sidelines, because I mean, I feel like I see arguments for both in this day and age, but the idea presented here, everybody's becoming a bystander, would rather not, let's say, engage in politics or engage in disagreements because it is too costly to do so. It's one of the reasons, like, I'm not even a political person on this channel, and maybe just in general, but that could also be problematic, and it's worth reflecting within myself. Is it worth being on the sidelines in some of these moments when there are very obvious things to speak on? And then you can take the flip side of things, and if people were being too active and actually not, let's say, well-informed, then they chose sides to be polarizing or to join a certain bandwagon, and you can end up making the type 1 or type 2 error. It just depends on what perspective you're coming from, with what knowledge you're going into either position with. And I feel like people don't even have that level of nuanced conversation about the value alignment or misalignment as much as they probably should.
Investors they were taxed, dollar for a dime, the blue chip companies and blue sky mines. We no longer choose sides, we choose sidelines. Bleeding the kind, blind leading the blind, and history repeats, no competing with time. Gas is eating the minds of the vets that they bring home. The plague of Agent Orange, Gulf War syndrome, soldiers sent home, post-traumatic stress leave, STDs cause the sleeve ain't sexy. Age of the 80s, Grim Reaper with the bomb, or Metallica, kill them all, let God scold them all. McGilford 4, Chicago 7, Mumia, Mandela, Ocean's 11, Harvard 12 on Friday the 13th, Dawn of the Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, weapons-free environment, war zone, phone home, melanoma glow as we soak in the ozone, homegrown, hydro, cocaine, nitro, werewolf in London, American sunshine, cyclones, bushfires, bushfire and skunks, baby boomers, Woodstock. What happened to the love? What happened to the cops? They fed them to the wolves, set a trap for pedophiles, they let them in the schools, set them on the students.
Oh my god, this is so real.
Baby boomers, Woodstock. What happened to the love? What happened to the cops? They fed them to the wolves, set a trap for pedophiles, they let them in the schools, set them.
Dude, I don't understand why these pedophiles get so much carte blanche access to children, and why so very often their sentences aren't more severe, and oftentimes they're let out extremely early. And you can even see it now unfolding in the last few years with our government aiding and abetting the mass pedophilic rings that are out there and that exist, and we've known anecdotally that are out there and impact people that we know or friends of friends, and it just somehow all gets whitewashed. It's an onslaught of fatigue. It's like the endless mudslinging that happens in media and the inability for us as individuals to affect as large of a change as we would like. And they continue to get away with terrible acts. Things like this shouldn't be acceptable, and they're reprehensible, and yet they're able to kind of rub their shoulders off and have nothing happen to them.
On the students, turn them on the kids, and everyone responsible should burn for what they did. And if they try to deny, then deny for another. Government and church in which we try to rely, both robbers till it hurts, chasing lie after lie, astronauts chasing a pie in the sky. They landed on the moon but can't seem to return. weren't there. Make some question if they ever really were there. And if they were there now, and they look back, could we look them in the eye, could we look back? Cause when we look back at what we have done, can you believe what we have become? And as we walk into the sun, can you believe what we have become? As we walk into the sun.
God. That was depressing. There's so much wrong with our society historically and now. And it's so important to understand what happened historically because those patterns often repeat. They may not look identical, but what they say is that history rhymes. You'll see certain patterns emerge, re-emerge in different contexts. And it is the wisdom of elders, people who have existed across multiple generations in our history books, hopefully that aren't indoctrinated with propaganda, that reveal what happened then so that we can kind of move into a better future now. It starts with every individual being as educated as possible on as many facets of life as we can. An issue becomes there's too much to know as any individual, and that's why we have subject area experts who have studied certain disciplines or understand certain historical trends, who are there to provide safety and guardrails for all of us societally so that we can all function together. The thing is too, you can't opt for complete generalization or complete specialization, because once you're completely specialized, that is just the extreme of capitalism. That has reduced you to one input action for one specific output. The other way, a generalized approach, or a completely generalized approach, doesn't allow you to, let's say, dive in as deep into each of the topics as you may like. And in its own way, like, you have to kind of measure breadth versus depth. If you can have depth and breadth, well, that would be great, and that's often the main limitation in being a human. We have to kind of choose the things we can pay attention to and learn about, and we only have so much time in the day, right? And so when you have all of those topics in one like fell swoop, just one after the next, boom, 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 it feels extremely overwhelming. And I think that's kind of the point. There's so much that we all need to address, we all need to know, to be capable of handling. And we just have to keep on going is the thing. And this is a burden that we don't individually have to shoulder ourselves. It is one we collectively shoulder together. That is what keeps a society running. Otherwise, we degenerate into anarchy, and things will just get worse and worse, and we'll, go through another dark age. And I don't want to be like as pessimistic. I take a very like optimistic but real approach. That tends to be kind of my worldview. But I came from a very pessimistic mind in years past. I used to always think, expect the worst and hope for the best, kind of balancing both on the knife's edge. Because in a lot of situations, you kind of have to expect the worst if you're not going to let yourself down or feel worse about the state of the world. But the thing is, our expectations may not be accurate representations of what is the worst either. Like that line in the song, "The truth can be stranger than fiction." Our minds, whatever we know about the world, it is only a percent of a percent of a percent. That's why we need all of us, all of our collective brain power to figure things out. They even say with like capital markets, if you look at like finances and the way stocks move up and down, the current price has all of the information of every single investor priced in currently. And that's why they say you cannot beat the market, because you as an individual versus everybody else, you probably have less collective knowledge than all of the others, unless there's insider trading going on or something like that. There's plenty of little examples that can break my generalized points here, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But man, another banger from Hilltop Hoods. They cut deep with their lyricism. talking about all of the topics that you might need to address what's going on in our hearts, in our world. It's it's one of the reasons why I was initially drawn to genres like hip hop and lyrical rap, for one, because they would talk about so many interesting things that I didn't feel like got addressed as often or in as real of a way in other more mainstream avenues. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you'd like to request a reaction yourself, whether it's Hilltop Hoods or anyone else for that matter, please do so by hitting the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.